We're starting a new chapter now, and we're going to take a look at Revit project management. And one of the things that you often have to manage in your Revit projects is imported and linked files, and there is a difference between the two. So we've got a Revit project for you to have a look at as we work through this, and it's called importlinked.rvt. And as usual, you can download that from the library to follow along with the video. You may recognise the floor plan level 0 from previous videos as well. So you'll notice that we've got the little building with the door and the two windows and some walls. Now, the difference between imported and linked files. Well, when you import a file, it's a snapshot. And when that file is updated, you won't see any changes in the Revit project whatsoever. However, if you link a file to your Revit project, any changes made in that file will be reflected the next time you load up that linked file and open that Revit project again. So that's the difference between the two. Now, this can include CAD files, images, PDFs and so on. But what you've got to think about is the positioning and the difference between an import and a linked file. So what we're going to do first is look at how we link a file, because linked files tend to be the preferable way to go. If you're linking a CAD file to your Revit project, you want to be able to see if any changes to that CAD file have been made. So we go to the Insert tab on the ribbon, and you'll notice here that you can link and you can import. Import is very useful for things like standard details, standard foundations, things like that. Whereas if you've got a drawing, a CAD file for example, that represents the structural layout of a building, such as the walls and the columns and so on, you want that to be linked, because if any changes are made, you want to see those changes in your Revit project. So we're going to link CAD here in the linked panel on the Insert tab on the ribbon. And what that will do is it will take us to link Cad Formats, as you can see there in the dialog box. Now we've got a drawing for you. It's called propertyfootprint.dwg, and you want to make sure that it's in the same folder as your importlink.rvt file. So when I select it, you can see a little property boundary and a little sort of building sort of property footprint there as well. And what we're going to do, we're going to bring that into our Revit project. Now there's a number of settings you can utilize here. You can preserve the colors, or you can go black and white, or you can invert the colors. Black and white tends to be the better one. Layers and levels, you can bring them all in, or you can set visible ones, or you can specify. If I go to specify there, when I go to link the CAD file, it will ask me which layers I want to bring in. I'm just going to bring in all of them, because as you can see there's only 2 of them in this particular linked CAD file. We're going to auto-detect the units, and the nice thing is Revit will correct any lines that are slightly off axis for you as well. Now positioning, we're going to go just center to center. That's all we need to do for this, and we're going to place it at level 0. You'll notice there's other orientation settings. You can do shared coordinates, origin to origin, and so on. If I went for shared coordinates, that would mean that my coordinate settings need to match between my CAD file and my Revit project. I'm just going to go for center to center in this case, but you can see you can do it automatically or manually. Be aware of your coordinates in both your Revit project and your CAD file when you bring it in. That way you can decide on which positioning method to use. I'm going to go with center to center, and I'm going to place it at level 0, and I will orient it to the view. So when I click on open now, you'll see that drops in nicely in the center of the screen. So when I select that now, you can see there that this is my propertyfootprint.dwg in the modify panel on the ribbon, and there's the import symbol propertyfootprint.dwg in the properties palette as well. So what you've done there is you've made sure that that is now a linked file, and it's linked to your importlink.rvt file. If you want to manage that link, you can go into manage links here in the Insert tab. It's also in the Manage tab on the ribbon, and there's Manage Links there as well. And it's a CAD format that we're using, so there's our property footprint DWG loaded into our Revit project, as you can see.